I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin, and in this video, we're going to have a look at Apecoin, one of the bigger potential hitters this upcoming bull run. In this video, a complete review and price prediction. How far is it actually off the all-time high? Very, very far. $23.65 for one Apecoin with a 24-hour volume of almost $5.6 billion. That was a long time ago because it's now sitting at 65 cents. Is that the all-time low? Well, it's definitely close to the all-time low, 38 cents. Like that opening in basically 2022, right? The basically start of the bear market. It was absolutely crazy with the NFTs, with everything, but we just have to be realistic. What is the potential in this token as of today for the upcoming potential alt season? Current FDV, 658 million, still really, really high. Market cap, 500 million, right? So it's almost close to full dilution. Volume, still good, 44 million in the last 24 hours. Now, let's look at the exchanges. Everybody should be present, and they are. Binance, Bybit, Coinbase, Upbit, OKX, MEXC, Gate is there, KuCoin is there, Bitum is here, Crypto.com, even Bitfinex, HTX, every single exchange has listed this token. Now, of course, at the peak of the bull market in terms of Apecoin, it was April 2022. $23 would basically put the valuation for this token at 23 billion. That's real bull market vibes, right? Is it worth that? No. Was it ever worth that? No. And you can see basically an imminent crash after that as well to about $3, which was even at that point a $3.6 billion valuation, really high, right? You can see even in the volume, those pumps, and the volume really slowed down to still 100, 200 million a day, which is very significant. Over time, the volume went lower and lower and lower, and there was a significant bleed out. Now, to basically look at this chart properly, we need to remove that big pump. $6 is still there, $3 is still there. I want to bring it to a lower point, $4. Okay, so here we see the decline. So we're now in January 23-ish, right? Or this is still the last period. No, I want to move it to January. Yeah, so this is the end period. So this is January here, and then we basically have it 2025. This is where they launched Apechain. So we saw an initial small recovery from $1.14 to $1.50, and then a continuous bleed out. Why does that happen? Because the Apechain rewards APY in Apecoin, meaning that you can get more Apecoin for staking Apecoin. What I've always said is that staking as a sole foundation like that is no utility because it only causes dilution. If there's no other consumption for the token, then what happens is there's going to be more and more sell pressure. So the Apecoin website basically has the governance. So basically it's a very complex system. I know they've been going back and forth on like how to redo the DAO and everything, but they control a lot of money, and DAOs on level like this, in my opinion, they never really work, right? So what has really been going on for Apecoin? It's very much dependent on the other side metaverse, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, Yuga Labs. And we've seen obviously the changes at Yuga Labs as well. Our mission is to supercharge ape ecosystem by supporting high quality builders and reinforcing three core pillars: Apechain, Bored Ape Yacht Club, and the other side, right? So in regards to that, right, they have now slowly be pushing out more relevant content in terms of the bull market. There are some of these micro games. But before we go into that, and that's more like the Yuga Lab side, you can see that the Apecoin, basically, perhaps it has to do with like regulation's sake in the US. It's very much focused on this DAO, and that's probably most of there is to it, right? They basically vote on principles to get funding, suggestions, proposals, and that's how it moved forward. So we can have a look at one that was submitted 2 months ago, rejected. Okay, bring apes to a new audience through the opportunity of a TikTok shop, right? Okay, so they give some data. What is it that they actually wanted, right? So upon approval, they want $96,000, right? And this is how they would be spending it, basically. And then in the tracking charge, they want $152,000, and this got rejected by 96%. So very significant rejection. Something that approved, sunsetting the DAO and launching Apeco, a new operating model for Apecoin. So this is what I spoke about. So this I got a 99% approval rate, where they're moving away from the complex DAO structure to a more sophisticated operational. There's a lot of like allocations and tokens, legal structures that have to be changed. It's all quite complex. But I want to see if there's anything else that they focused on to get approved, so you can get an idea. An affordable and comfortable approach for ROI within the DAO. Okay, benefit the ecosystem. Okay, shoes, creating an official line of merch, starting from casual shoes, affordable price, to make revenue stream for DAO. Okay, this got 40% abstained, and then it went through. So what it goes? So the total amount requested is $27,000. Relatively for an ecosystem like this, it's very little, right? So perhaps that's why it had a little bit more process. DAO governance revamp, renewal of NFT, Labs magazine plan for empowering global community. What does that cost? Right. Okay. So there's a lot of info. Overall cost, $168,000. Okay, so that's more significant, but it ties in deeper with the audience, right, that they're trying to reach. It's actually real world assets, promotion, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that is what's going on there. You have a good idea on like what they're voting about, how it's going, but now they're basically sunsetting the DAO and launching a new operating company to restructure and perhaps move faster through decision making, etc. Now, my main point is, okay, that Apecoin DAO, it's whatever, you know, NMOK has like a big share. There's some other people that have big share, big votes. DAO overall bullshit, right? It never works. Power to the people. People don't know what to do. They're just running around in circles. Somebody needs to seize control, and in this case, Yuga Labs, because it's their brand, their company. At the end of the day, let's just build something great. So my estimate, my focus is basically on this other side metaverse, right? Now, they've been showcasing trips and trailers for like the last 2 years. It is extremely slow, right? Does it take time to build a proper game experience? Yes. Does it take time to build like an MMORPG style game? Yes, right? And when I say yes, I mean like 4 or 5 years, right? However, they have such an insane amount of funding. It appears, and it seems that other people share that opinion, that what Yuga Labs lacks is clear vision, clear leadership structures, too much corporate bullshit, raised too much money too quick, lost the hustle, lost a lot of the co-founders along the way. So they bought Meebits, then they sold Meebits, they bought Moonbirds, they sold Moonbirds, or whatever. Like a couple of these collections, they got acquired, they got removed. Maybe, you know, in the acquisition initially moving things forward, then moving things backward. Now, why are all these things relevant that Yuga Labs is doing? Because that other side metaverse would be the main consumption of that Apecoin token. That ape chain itself is not really doing that much, right? So the proof of concept is this: if I'm going to do a chain, I'm going to launch my game on my chain, and therefore other people want to build on my chain because they can see how great it is, right? So in that angle, yeah, the other side needs to be great, for the chain needs to be great, for the double pump basically in that token. Now, as with any other token, yeah, during the bullish pattern in the market, it will do well. However, when we look at how other tokens have pumped recently in better market conditions, right? Most tokens are up anywhere from 10 to 60%. Apecoin has not done this, right? So it's up only 4% in the last month and 9% in the last year, where it has seen significant pumps all the way to $2, right? But it couldn't hold that. Now, of course, if we run this on Etherscan, there must be a lot of holders, right? 182,000, which also means at that time there is a lot of sell pressure. Don't forget that, right? So this token carries a lot of sell pressure with it from people that have bought perhaps at any of these prices above $1, right? Because it hasn't been, so here it was below $1, but all this time from 22 to basically almost to 24, it was above $1, right? So the people that are underwater is like who bought during this period and who bought like after the start of 2025. That's like all underwater still. Now, complex because there's a lot of token holders, and you have to look at it like this, right? And this is the main takeaway from the video, so pay attention. You have to look at it like this. How likely is it for a company to raise hundreds of millions and not be able to figure it out? Extremely unlikely. Extremely unlikely. In desperate move, if they fuck up all the money and they have 50 million left, they could just flush that into the chart and pump the token to Valhalla, right? As a last ditch effort. Will they do that? Unlikely, right? But the progress on the other side is slow, right? But it might be slow for a reason. They might be building it behind doors. Like, to be fair, that would be the way that I would personally go about it. I wouldn't really show everything. Like, if it's good, it's good. So here you see, like, there's tons of players. So I just have to mute it. But it's working, right? They're doing like beta testing. It's closing, and not too long ago they gave this overview where they were saying like, hey guys, the whole idea of this other side is that we integrate third-party IP, that other people build playable experiences, so more like a Roblox, perhaps like Fortnite type of vibe, I don't know, which would make sense, right? But I would be very surprised if they haven't been building in the background and just waiting for basically alt season to start. They're just waiting for more of the products to be ready, because here you get the swamp, you get the other one, and then at some point basically say like, hey guys, alt season, all the gaming tokens are ripping, we have products on the other side, push the marketing engine, and then they start pushing and everything starts pumping and everything is great, because it is basically, apart from CryptoPunks, perhaps the OG NFT bull run master out of 2021, Bored Yacht Club, the Mutant Apes, the Dogs, the other side, the Kodas, everything included to it. What is the potential? Will it ever see $23 again? Possible, but unlikely unless they start shipping aggressively features on the actual product and make that adoption. What are the odds of that they can figure it out after basically 2-3 years of corporate bullshit? Unlikely, right? There's still a big question mark. I'm not confident enough that I would say like, hey, if I would know like there's a good team, they're communicating properly, that all this DAO bullshit is figured out, they're not in the US, right, which carries its own complexities that are now slowly being resolved, I could perhaps say like, hey, I could just throw like 100 grand into this and it will go back to like $10 and I'll be fucking rich, right? I'm not that confident, right? I'm not even confident enough. Well, I could throw like 10,000 in this and that I would be that confident that it will yield rewards during a alt season. But there's still so many question marks here, and we always look back on like, what could the potential future yield? We make that estimate based on historic things that we've seen, and with this Apecoin, with the other side, with Yuga Labs, it's just not been good, right? It's not been good. Does it mean that they can not recover? It doesn't mean that, right? Everything can recover, everything can turn around. We're just focusing here on what's possible. All in all, I think they have an amazing opportunity with the other side because all the eyes are on that. I think they are progressing. I would love to see over the next couple of months what they're going to bring in that case. And I think the eyes are focused there for Yuga Labs, for ApeChain, for Apecoin. It's all kind of integrated that way that the other side will be the movers. And I have good hope and good faith that it will happen and it will be great for the Apecoin. That's everything for this video. Let me know what you think in the description down below. Will Apecoin recover to $5, $10, $20? Your opinion against my opinion, and we will see what happens in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.